My name is Cameron Nixon. I became an Eagle Scout in 1983. I am a banker. I am the regional president for Cadence Bank here in Augusta, Georgia. I manage a staff of 6 or 7 commercial lenders and 4 or 5 support staff, and we generate business and support companies in our community, in the Augusta community. Troop 45 out of Aldersgate United Methodist Church, an older troop, and I showed up somewhere in the late 1970s and immediately jumped right in with a bunch of guys who were my age and met a whole bunch of other people I didn't know. Exposed me to different folks from different schools and different parts of the city, which and looking back and in hindsight really was one of the best parts of that troop. We, I'm sure like a lot of troops, did a lot of camping. Scoutmaster had, Alan Strickland had some property out in Trenton, and so we did a lot of overnight camping at that site, and that kind of became our thing, is that we would do camping trips more often than not, it seemed, and that was what attracted me and I think other folks to the troop over the years. I'll say a couple things. One is the little silly stuff. It's not really silly, but little things like knots. Somehow I really took to learning knots, and I use them all the time, and sometimes when I'm bored, I'll just take a couple pieces of rope and tie a sheepshank or a couple of double half hitches or something silly like that. But looking around today's kids and other folks, I'm not sure that's a skill that carries on. So I'm actually kind of proud that I took that up and enjoy it. The other thing I learned is really that you could be yourself, and if you believed in yourself and believed in a certain approach or belief, scouting gave me the ability to stand on that and express it and believe in it with a lot of confidence. That's hard to say. The trip to the National Jamboree in 1981 to Fort A.P. Hill was a fantastic experience, and so I'd have to say that was one of the better ones. The trip involved a bus ride from Augusta up to Virginia, and on the way we stopped in D.C., Washington, D.C., toured some of the monuments. We camped in a couple of Army compounds, Fort Eustis being one of them, and slept in the tents and got in the mess line and ate just like the other soldiers. The trip to get in there was half the adventure. The other really exciting part and enjoyable part was the Jamboree itself. And I do recall one instance where we were all, many scouts from across the country were in a lake in a canoe, and we ended up having water splash wars, and we were divvied up by our geography. So it ended up being the Southerners versus the Northerners, and you'd go out and seek a canoe with a bunch of Yankees in it, and they would do the same thing, a bunch of us Southerners, and you'd find the enemy and have at it with the paddles in the water. And that we still talk about that amongst ourselves. That was a fun escapade there. Certainly, it's opened doors and is a easy and respected way to have a conversation and to open up a relationship with someone, because people are so familiar with Scouts. The attainment of the Eagle Scout rank is not easy, and people understand that it takes time, and you put your effort in, and you are rewarded by your hard work. And that is certainly a nice and easy and, for me, nostalgic way to start a conversation with folks. And in my line of business, conversation with people about their business and how we can help is big part of how we do our job. And so it's a nice way to define myself and have a conversation with folks as we initially get to know each other. Probably say what everybody else says, which is thank you. There were times in my early days in the troop where I didn't quite feel like I fit in and didn't know where I was going with it. Kind of went because it was kind of the thing to do. Through conversations and their leadership and their examples, it became evident that an experience in scouting was something that was going to be good for me. And like all good leadership from adults, they're generally are right and the children are wrong. And I am thankful that I listened to them and found things that I enjoy doing, and really couldn't imagine not completing my scouting career. And so for that encouragement and that leadership to keep me in the troop, keep me going in scouts, that I then could turn around and help the younger folks, I'm eternally grateful for that.